Welcome back to another Kicking Tables. Today we are delighted to have Stefan Godot with us, the creator of Human Punishment: The Beginning, coming to Kickstarter on January 25th. I almost said the 6th. It is the 25th. Stefan, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for letting me here today.
I want to know all about Human Punishment: The Beginning. Can you tell us about the game and what is it?
Yeah, so it's a little bit. Let me start with our first game. So we already had a game launched on Kickstarter, which is called Human Punishment: Social Deduction 2.0. So it is a card game, a social deduction game, and now we are trying to start world building. And now we will bring a bigger game in the same universe, and it is called Human Punishment: The Beginning, and it is a semi-co-op, pick up and deliver, and deduction. A little bit social deduction game. So it's a hybrid with lots of new mechanics and new ideas. And we're big fans of games like Battlestar Galactica and Nemesis. Who goes there? And all those big epic moments with cinematic twists and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what's the plan. We will try to advance this genre because we absolutely love this. And yeah.
Yeah, like the Battlestar Galactica hints where you don't know who's the Cylon and who's not. That's kind of idea. Now, what's the typical gameplay like? What are you doing each round, depending on who you are?
So there are 4 different playable teams in the game. Of course, each team is different because each team has other win conditions. And but of course you must say you're a human, right? Because you're a human team, you're a little ghost squad, and you must try to avoid the machine revolution, which will happen, which has already happened in our other game. So this is the beginning. So it's the start of the story.
Okay.
And so you are in the city with your team, and you want to protect your network from the machine virus. But here's the problem, because of course there are traitors in your team. You are already infiltrated. And the problem here is you have no idea which teams are at the table. So maybe if you are playing with 3 players, the majority are always humans, of course, because you are a human team, right? But you can also be a machine, a Legion player, or a Fallen player. And you know that there are so many player, what they will do, what they will try to do, and stuff like that. And if you are in a traitor team, so maybe if you're a machine, you can work for the situation that players will think that there's another team at the table, and this is really evil. So you can try to believe other players that there's another team at the table, but maybe you as a machine try to fulfill your conditions. So yeah, and of course all players have a secret objective, a personal objective. So sometimes good players must doing evil stuff, and sometimes evil players must doing good stuff for more paranoia and stuff like that.
Right.
And of course we have a little bit new here because it's also a bigger pick up and deliver game, which is really unique in my opinion in this genre. So because players will try to bring data chips from 3 sectors to the network to protect the network. So blue chips would save the network. They are firewalls and security files and stuff like that. But the machines have the same condition, but they will try to bring red chips to the network. But you have no clue what they have equipped and what's going on at the table. So of course there are ways to get information, and there are more routes you can choose. There's a short route, but there's not so much benefit for it. Or you can use the longer route, which will need more time, and you have no time at all at any time. So This is really hard. But if you're using the long route, you will collect scanners, and if you have both scanners, you can bring your data chip revealed to the network. So you can bring information to the table. You can say, "Hey, look here, it's blue. I must be a human, right?"
Okay.
But maybe it's just a traitor, or maybe it's just a human which needs too much time, and the machines run the short way, and they try to bring the red chips inside the network. So yeah.
That's wow. Okay, so everyone is essentially doing the same thing. You're all delivering, but you don't know what they're delivering based on who they are. That's wow.
Is there always a machine, or is there some games where it's potentially where there may not be a traitor in the game?
Yeah, good question. So if you're playing with 3 players, of course, this game is for 3 to 6 players. If you're playing with 3 players, you have two humans and 1 secret team. So you don't know if there's a Legion, a Fallen, or a machine. So here comes the point where you have no trust at the table. And if you're playing with four players, we have two humans, one machine, and one secret fallen or legion. So there are 3 teams in your 4-player game. And if you're playing with more players, there's a possibility that there are 2 machines at the table, or even more teams, of course. There's a possibility that all teams are at the table if you're playing with 6 players, which is really, really insane. But there's lots of fun at the table because you're playing most of the time. You're playing really as a team because there are lots of skill checks in this game. After every player's turn, there's a little skill check, an event. And most of the time, the skill checks are for all teams. So maybe you must succeed in this skill check, but this will help 2 teams and not just 1 team. So you must already think about, is the fallen guy maybe at the table and tries to bring this to success, or maybe it was a machine. So you have never 100% information. And so, yeah, it's really, really lots of paranoia at the table.
That's very cool. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the inspirations you had, other games that may have inspired this, or even other media like movies and TV that had sort of inspired the look and feel of your story?
Yeah, so I'm a big movie. I love watching movies and stuff like that. I love the Alien movies, and there's a little bit of Alien in this game. Mm-hmm. The faction called Legion is a little alien race, you could say, and they can infect other players. And with 5 or 6 players, they can infect other players. So there's one phase in the game where all players close their eyes, and now this Legion can. With my camera, so you can put one. So you can infect one player on purpose, which is really great. So it's not just a random event. So you can choose perfectly which character is perfect for your team. So maybe you will choose the best character at the table, the strongest character, or maybe you will choose the character which is so silent and so unpredictable that this one would be better in your team. So this is really, really evil in the game. And yeah, of course, there are lots of other great games. Like I already mentioned, I love Nemesis. I love Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. I think Battlestar Galactica is the biggest inspiration for the game. I'm sure we advanced lots of the mechanics from Battlestar Galactica to a new layer. And I think, but I don't think you need to sell your Battlestar Galactica. I sold mine, but this doesn't should change your decision, right? So I think Battlestar Galactica is a great game, and I absolutely love this game, and I played this game so often, and I think we got the spirit of this game, and I think this is the part which is really important.
Awesome. I want you to dive in a little bit because you mentioned the characters in the game. So not only are you playing as either human or machine or Legion, but you actually have a character card, and each character has abilities. How do those change depending on who they are? Like, do they get different abilities depending on what faction they're with? And yeah. What are some of your favorite characters?
So there are 6 characters in the game. Of course, they are the Ghost Squad, and all of them are absolutely different. So they all have other skill trees. You can advance your character in the game, and you have 4 different job levels, each one with 2 levels. So you can fulfill your jobs, and you will become stronger. Maybe you can advance, and you have more actions, more movement and stuff like that, or new abilities. So each character is really, really unique. We use the same system as in Battlestar, so there's a disadvantage and an advantage for every character. So every character feels lots of new if you're playing them for the first time.
Right.
And yeah, of course, there's an all-rounder character as a good example. The all-rounder is in normal games. An all-rounder is just normal in every skill, right?
Okay.
Maybe he's okay, but he's not perfect. But our all-rounder is a beast. Our all-rounder can do everything because he's an all-rounder. So he must fulfill 2 personal objectives instead of just 1. So he must do a little bit more for this power. But he's a really, really great character. And of course, there's the medic. The medic is also really cool. He can heal other players or himself, and this will bring him more hand cards and more stuff. So healing will bring him lots of more talents in the game, which is really cool. And yeah, there's a runner. Runner is pretty awesome because she runs, she's really fast, she has more movement. This doesn't sound really strong, but you just need 2 steps from the sectors to the network. So you need 2 rounds for a normal character, and she just needs 1 round.
Nice.
So it's just really, really important. And her disadvantage is really, really great because she can't collect scanners. So if she uses the long road, she will never show you what's going on in the network. So
well, she's going too fast. You can't see what she's
yeah,
got.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
she's too fast for the
she's
scanners.
too fast.
This is the point. Yeah. So she's the only person which can carry 2 data chips. So she's really, really strong, and she's fast. So you should never trust her. And, but my favorite character in the game is Decoy, and Decoy has his own companion, a dog called Kuro, and they can work together, but they can split each other. So maybe one works at the city, the other one goes to another area and will work there. So they can completely work at 2 different areas, and they are completely what's the word for this? So they can work at 2 different locations at the same time. So this is a really, really strong ability. And of course, Decoy can advance his dog with new skills. The dog can also carry data chips and stuff like that. So yeah, I really, really love Decoy. I think he's more complicated than the other characters, but it's not really hard. So if you just know the game, it's no problem there.
Right. Now, Human Punishment: The Beginning is actually a prequel to your other game, Social Deduction 2.0, but I understand they can be combined together. How does that work? How do you combine them, and how different does that make the game?
Yeah, so we try to bring a little bit new here. So we use this, and we call this the Connecting World System, or CYS. And now it is possible to play both games on one night for a one-night campaign. So you can start with the beginning, of course. The name already says the beginning, right?
Right.
And if you're playing at the beginning, every outcome in this game will bring a new setup for the other game, Human Punishment: Social Deduction 2.0.
Okay.
So maybe the machines don't get their revolution. There are no machines in the next game of Human Punishment, of course. So there is no machine revolution, right? Or if there are bosses in the game, you can try to build the human boss Apex, which is a really great giant mech. But if this will be destroyed in the game, it will be removed from the Human Punishment game because it will never appear there. And there's lots of outcomes in the beginning, and everything is important. You can transfer your program cards from one game to the other game for more power in the end game, so you can say. And the biggest part here is, of course, you will stay in your team. So when your first game, the beginning, is over, and the machines don't have won, you can't be happy. You must be sad, right? Because no one should see this. So now you should buy some food, 1 hour of trash talk, and then you could start your next game. And and this is really, really strong. So lots of things that can happen here. And of course, every campaign is a little bit different. If you're playing 3 campaigns and three nights, you will have 3 completely different stories here. So, and this is really, in my opinion, this is really unique. So, yeah.
So you're basically using the beginning as a prequel. You're playing through that game, which then determines the setup for the first game, and you play through that using that unique setup. Is that basically how you're looking at you combining the 2?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the plan. Of course, it's a standalone game, so you don't need Human Punishment: Social Deduction 2.0 for the beginning. But if you have a little bit of time, one night, I think if you're playing 3 to 4 hours for both games, you could have a really, really great time there. And you already have your little game at the end, because of course it's a card game, Human Punishment: Social Deduction 2.0. So you have already your last game for the night. Then you're empty. So yeah. you can fall into your bed and you're over.
You're wiped out at the end of that.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of your favorite strategies. To use when you're playing as each faction. Which is your favorite faction to play as, first of all, and what are some of your favorite strategies to employ?
So my favorite team is the Fallen player, because he's always alone in his team. He's a lone wolf, and but his advantage is his win conditions overrides all other win conditions. So if you have already won your game, you can help every other team because you will override their win condition.
Wow.
So this one is really, really, really tricky, because you must always try to look out. Maybe there could be a fallen Fallen works with the junkyard, so if there are too much chips in the junkyard, too much great chips there, that there's the possibility that he has won. So you must almost look very closely if there's a possibility for a Fallen player. So the Fallen is really, really evil. And my favorite strategy in this game is there are recon cards you can collect in the game. They are really rare, so you can only collect one recon card for each character. And these cards are really, really strong secret information just for you. So there's one secret recon card. If you use this card, you will draw one loyalty card from the cards that are not used in our game. So maybe we play with 4 players. We have used 4 loyalty cards, of course, but there are still 2 at the side of the game because not all teams are at the table. And now I can draw one of those cards and I can watch it. And now I can lie the hell out of me. So I can say, okay, guys, I just saw a machine loyalty here. So I think there's no machine at the table or stuff like that. But of course, I'm the machine, right? So and I can do some evil stuff. I tricked the last time we played. I tricked with this strategy the complete table, and they all thought I used the wrong loyalty cards at the table because nothing makes sense. So, but that was really, really great moment for me. So, and of course we won. We were 2 machines at the table, but I told my other players that there was a machine loyalty outside the game. So they thought there was just 1 machine at the table. But of course, this was not true. And yeah, this worked pretty well. And there are lots of cool ideas for those moments. And they are really moments that you will remember for a long time, I think.
I'd like to expand a bit. You talked about a bit of a story there that you had while playing. You must have a lot of really fun stories that happened while you were playtesting this. Do you have anything that really stands out as, I mean, that was an awesome game?
Ooh, this is a good question. I really, really think we had so many games, and I try to remember for a bad game, but in my lucky me, so I don't remember any bad games so far. But in the end, you have always such moments where you have this one moment where you can infect another player, and all players think you have chosen the strongest player at the table. And this is really great because if you don't choose the strongest player, they will try to think that this player will be not in their team anymore. But if you have chosen another player, so you have 2 pros here because you have a new player in your team and you have another good player which has no trust at the table. So you can do some really, really evil stuff. And I try always to search for a not so strong character at the table. But of course, the players, if you're doing this more often, players will understand what you were doing, and maybe you must change your tactic in the next game. But of course, with 4 playable teams, there's lots of variety. So, and you will see lots of variations in the game. And if you're playing as a human or as a machine, you will play completely different. So, yeah, and of course, because of the win conditions, every team feels so much different. So, if you're a Legion, the network and the data chips are completely out of your mind. You don't need them to win your game. So you just could do other stuff. But of course, you want that all players think that you're a human. So you will do a little bit stuff with the data chips and the network, but it doesn't matter for you. So it's red where I don't mind, right? So it's gray, I don't mind. So there's lots of cool twists here. So yeah,
that's awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit, maybe tease 1 or 2 of your stretch goals for your campaign? See, what are some of your favorites that you're looking forward to unlocking?
Yeah, so our first stretch goal is already revealed. We try to unlock acrylic standees for the players. So of course we are just a small publisher. We don't have the resources for miniatures, and we don't want to bring miniatures if we don't have awesome miniatures. So we skip them at the moment. I think this is the best way for us. So we try to bring the acrylic standees. They are looking absolutely awesome, and we try to unlock them in the first 2 days of the campaign. So if we reach 1,000 backers, we will unlock them. And there's lots of more stuff, of course, in the campaign. We have a little secret in the campaign. There are lots of secrets in the campaign, and maybe the players, the backers, will find them, and they will try to unlock the puzzles together. because there's some really cool special thing which is unlockable. But of course, I can't tell you this at the moment.
That's fair. That's fair. What are your plans after Kickstarter is done and you've fulfilled all the backers? Will people be able to purchase this online? Are you planning to get into stores? What are your plans there after Kickstarter is done?
So our plan is pretty easy. We will try to send all games to the backers first, of course. So all backers will receive their games first. This is 100% our spirit, you could say. And of course, we will try to bring this game to retail. But of course, it's not a cheap game. I'm not sure how much if this is possible in the retail stores. But we will try this, of course. We will start with English and German language, and maybe there will be some other publishers which will use the license to bring their game to their land or country. Human Punishment Social Deduction 2.0 also got lots of new languages in the last year. We got in Brazil and Russia, and nice. We will launch it in China soon. So there are lots of possible options here, and we hope we will bring the game to most of the players. So this is the plan.
That is awesome. Well, yeah. The Kickstarter is going on right now by the time you see this video. So everybody go check out Human Punishment, The Beginning. And if you haven't checked out the original one, Human Punishment, Social Deduction 2.0, go check that out at Godot-boardgames.com. You can check that one out. But sure, absolutely, go check out The Beginning on Kickstarter now. Stefan, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited. Yeah, I hope we will read us in the comments. I will be there the complete day. So just send a comment. I will answer you.
Awesome. Sure. Thank you, Stefan.
Deliver this memory token to the network mainframe. The machines are already controlling the sectors, so stay alert. Take a gun and this program with you. That's all we have left in the supply. The others will take another route. But be careful. I believe we have a traitor among us. Good luck, Ghost Cadet.